My name is Mr. Brian Maragna, and I'm the Assistant Principal for Academics. And I want to talk just a few minutes, first of all, to welcome you and to say a few words about your academics and your academic success as freshmen this year. All right, so first, welcome. We're very happy to have you here, whether you're here for the first time or continuing up for a middle school. It's a great day to be at Dawn, and we're really happy to have you here. As a freshman, there is a lot on your plate. And there are a lot of new things, and you will experience an increase in academic work, both in terms of the breadth, the amount of stuff that you're covering, and the depth, the rigor, and the difficulty level of things that you're doing. So it's a lot. Let's talk about the breadth first. You're learning and taking subjects in history, in English, in theology, modern language, math, science, computer science, physical education, and art. That's a lot. Some of you will find out that all 8 periods of the academic day are taken this semester. If you're lucky to have a free period floating around this semester, that means that second semester, all 8 of your classes are taken up. It's a busy year for freshmen. But it's an exciting year, too, because we are making a shift. And this shift from middle school to upper school requires a couple of things. And so I want to give 3 tips for your success in the upper school, in the high school here at Loyola. The first is to be proactive rather than reactive. So one of the shifts you'll see from middle school to high school is in middle school you may have gotten pretty good at hearing what the teacher is teaching, copying it down, memorizing it, giving it back to the teacher. Kind of reacting. Teacher says, here's a deadline. You react to the deadline the day before. You do the work, and you move forward. Here in the high school, you need to be proactive, not just reactive. Yes, your teachers will give you information that you need to learn and memorize and respond to on a test. However, your teachers will also be asking you questions that don't have easy answers. I was in the computer science class last year, and the teacher was asking, how much time is too much time on the screens? And if you're being reactive and just waiting for one answer, you're going to be disappointed. What that question asked was for you to engage in discussion, debate, to be active in that conversation, to say, I don't think there's a number. And someone else saying, no, I think the science shows there is a certain amount of time that says there's too much time on the screens. It requires you to think and be proactive with your thinking. And that's going to lead me to one other thing. You heard from the Ignatian Mission and Identity people about all kinds of opportunities. So yes, we're going to ask you to be responsive or reactive when we have retreats for all freshmen to be participative to that. But there are going to be a number of opportunities where it's just up to you. A prayer service you can attend, a mass online, pizza and petitions during Lent, a service opportunity that maybe none of your other friends are joining. And to that, it's going to be uncomfortable to be proactive. But the second tip I have then for you is to sit with the discomfort. The Jesuits will often talk about what it means to be a spiritual person. And in Ignatian spirituality, we're not learning and growing when we're comfortable. We're learning and growing when we're uncomfortable. In these next couple of days, it's going to be tough to meet new people because other than the orientation and the walkthrough next week, we're going to be back to our homes learning virtually. So how do you make friends? It's going through that awkward phase of reaching out to someone and sending them an email or sending them a chat on Teams and saying, hey, I noticed we have 3 out of the same 5 classes together. Why don't we meet up on Teams and just talk a little bit? I want to know more about who you are. I'll say a little bit about who I am. That's weird. That's not normal. That doesn't feel comfortable. But sit with the discomfort. That's where you're growing. Now, when that discomfort becomes pain, make sure you're reaching out for help. Yes, high school is hard. Yes, you have personal responsibility that you need to meet and live up to. But you're not expected to do that alone. There's so many people here to help you. Your counselors, Mr. Langford, Mr. Brody, people like Mr. Bromwell, your academic services people, Murray Learning Services people, teachers, department chairs, we're all here to help. So be proactive, sit with the discomfort, and ask for help. Have a great year, guys. I am happy to turn it over at this point to your Dean of Students, Mr. Schlichting.
Hey, good afternoon, fellas, and welcome to high school. Right? It's a big thing. I know everybody's going to keep saying that. It's a big thing. Like, adolescence is kicked off now. Like, you're planning for adulthood now. We're going to start moving toward adulthood. That might be a little ways off, and that's good because we have a lot of things to practice and a lot of things to worry about. And if I could bottle up everything that Mr. Marani just said and hand it to you, that's a really great start. It's proactive people in this world that are bettering themselves and bettering the world around them. I'd like to add to what Mr. Marani said. I'm going to take one of our grad goals, one of the values we hope is going to develop, or you are going to develop as we work toward graduation. And it's one maybe your Dean of Students might not be expected to say. Loving. When I look around our deeply complicated world, when I look at the struggle our nation is facing with racism, when I look at the division in our country, I find it difficult. And when I struggle for answers to see my way through these difficult problems, one thing helps me. Love. If I can see through problems with love, then the color of somebody's skin does not matter. Their identity as a person is what matters. What's deep in their heart, that's what matters, not the facade outside. And if we together can start practicing that, you and me and everybody here is going to be better. Now tomorrow, I hope there's one or two groups I may not see tomorrow, but we're going to have a little more time together. We're going to flesh this out a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more about how we treat one another as we prepare for adulthood and seeing each other with love. Fellas, thanks very much for your attention. Fellas, President's Day.
Afternoon, Dons.
Afternoon.
It's good to see you guys. Welcome back. For many of you, welcome back. For some of you, welcome. For all of you, welcome to freshman year. This is a really cool moment. It really is for all of you to start high school. I mean, I remember getting ready for high school, which was really not that long ago, if you believe that. And I remember the anxiety. I remember the nervousness. But I do remember more clearly than anything the excitement that I was experiencing going into high school, because I felt like I had arrived, you know? Like I felt that I was now kind of moving into this different phase of my life, which you are, which we all do. It's a monumental moment in some ways, and that could be overwhelming at times. You've heard today, and you will continue to hear, that when those overwhelming moments approach you or overcome you, you have so many people, adults and classmates alike in this community, who are here to catch you, here to support you, here to walk beside you all the way. So you're never alone. You will never be alone throughout your time here at Loyola, throughout your time in high school. So remember that and hold on to that. And then I'll say this. We all bleed blue and gold. We are united in that way. And if we are united, okay, as people who bleed blue and gold, we do what Mr. Marania said, we do what Mr. Schlichting said, and we don't judge, but we care for our brothers and for our sisters who bleed blue and gold here as well. So keep that in mind. Stay positive. Enjoy the next few days and next week. And also, you know, it's a weird transition. I get that to the school year. But embrace the positive moments. Look for the silver linings. Look for the small graces along the way. Let's have a great year. Roll Dons. Thanks, guys. Marinaki.
Thank you, Mr. Day. Thank you. Gentlemen, I'm another one who wants to say welcome. And you were given great advice. Loving, leaning into discomfort, asking for help. Talking about the resources that are here for you. I want to take a minute and talk about you. By talking about you, I'm going to talk about me for a second, actually. Any of you guys baseball players? No? Okay. Neither am I, but I thought I was once. Going into high school, right around the same time you guys were, I was doing football. You know, anybody here been doing football workouts? Yeah, a couple guys, great. Okay. I was doing my 2 days in football, excited to come in because I was going to be a football player and I was going to be a baseball player. I went to high school in New York, and you have fall ball as well and for baseball in New York. And I was a catcher, and I was pretty good. And I was planning on getting really good and being a kind of a big-time New York baseball player, you know? And so I did my 2-day footballs, and that first Saturday fall ball workout came for baseball. And I stepped in, all ready to go. I had done my catch and drills. I'd done my pop and shoots down to second base. I was looking good and hanging, freshman in there. And I stepped into the batter's box. And John Marciano was 2 years older than I. He was a junior. Have any of you guys ever seen a real curveball stood in against a real curveball? If you stand in against a real curveball, depending what side of the plate it's coming from, that thing drops, and it drops fast. And John Marciano threw a baseball that was coming right at my temple. And I was so nervous, so scared, I was sure it was going to hit me in the head, so I dropped straight to my backside, got completely dirty, and Doug Fall, our baseball coach, looked and said, "Strike." And I thought that was impossible, and the ball was in the catcher's mitt. And I got back up again, dusted myself off, got in that box. John Marciano threw that ball. It's coming right at my temple. What do you think I did this time? No! I hit the ground again. I was terrified. Fell right on my backside again. Doug Fall said, "2." I got up, dusted myself off, got my batting gloves ready, dug in. John Marciano, the upper class, looked at me and goes, "I'm throwing the same pitch." Wound up, threw the ball, it's coming right at my temple again. I knew it was coming. And of course, I hit the ground. That's exactly right. I was absolutely terrified. You know what I learned about myself that day? I might not have been the exact person I thought I was going to be walking into high school. And that's okay. I could have stuck with baseball, gotten the help I needed, and learned how to hit a curveball just fine. Put a lot of effort into football at the time. Found lacrosse later on in the spring. Wound up playing that for a bunch of years. All the way into my adulthood, I played for a while. But along the way, tried out for the winter musicals. I'm not a great singer, but I like being in the chorus. Joined the French club, even though I took Latin and Italian. Why? Because some of the people I loved were members of the French club. Got into student government. I was okay at that. A little lazy, a little disorganized, but I tried it. Wrote for the student newspaper, did a little bit of Model UN. Was in the Marine Biology Club. Got to go and clean the fish tanks, move the turtles around. Here's the point. I thought I was going to be one person walking in the door. And because I leaned into some discomfort, because I was open to growth, because I approached it with a positive attitude, believed in the people that were there for me, I saw opportunity in the face of failure. I tried out for baseball. I wouldn't go so far as call it a failure, but what I saw there was maybe there was room for growth. The growth might have been as a curveball hitter, and that would have been fine, but instead, I used it as an opportunity to look in another direction. And this is what I urge for you guys. We've all done distance learning for the last 4 months of school. Some of you guys did it with Loyola, some of you guys did it with other institutions. It's going to be different no matter what. You've never done high school before. You've done some sports, you've done some clubs. There's going to be a whole bunch of opportunities. Prayer groups, retreats, service, theater, forensics, Dungeons and Dragons, who knows? Clubs that haven't been invented yet. Maybe you want to invent a club. What I'm saying to you is my job as principal, it's our job as the adults in the school community to help you say to yourselves, what is it do I want to try? How do I want to grow? It's okay if you walk in the door and say, I'm a swimmer, and you leave Loyola still being a swimmer. That's fine. I'm not saying you got to give it all up. What I am saying is look for the opportunities along the way. So I urge you, as we start a new beginning, keep your eyes open, your heart open, your mind open, and ask. Because the one thing we can't do for you is read your mind. Going back to what Mr. Ronnie said, being proactive, tell us what you need. Tell us what you want. Tell us how we can help. That's what we're here for. Gentlemen, welcome to Loyola. Welcome to freshman year. Can't wait to get to know each of you. Have a great rest of the day. Look forward to seeing you on the walkthrough. Take care.